Amaze raises money for good causes throughout the world. Their experiences have included celebrities such as Emilia Clarke, Mark Hamill, George Clooney, and many more, none of which feature in today's video. But we at Yarn Hub are very proud to have our cat added to the list of luminaries for Amaze who sponsor today's video. Amaze are supporting Give Power and 501c3. Both of these truly amazing charities are delivering clean drinking water to those who need it most. And Amaze is offering you the chance to win a Tesla. With its full self-driving capacity, even our cat can sit back and watch a movie on 17-inch cinematic display or enjoy the view of the stars through the glass panoramic roof. The waitlist for this Tesla is currently 6 months, but you can jump that line faster than it can go 0 to 60, which is really fast. For your chance to win a Tesla Model X Plaid and support a great cause, go to amaze.com/yarnhub. It's a calm afternoon on December the 8th, 1942, in the province of Fujian, China, near the Strait of Taiwan. A lookout scans the sky when he spots a lone dot flying in the distance on the horizon, approaching from occupied Taiwan. Alarms sound in the airfield below. Pilots Robert Lee Scott and Johnny Hampshire from the Flying Tigers scramble. They take off in their trusty P-40s and rush to intercept the mysterious craft. Flying in formation, they radio the mystery plane.
Identify yourself.
But receive no response. They try again as they stalk it, getting closer from behind.
What the hell?
It is then when they realize that the plane is another P-40, much like their own. And not only that, it appears to sport American markings that haven't been used for more than 10 months. They radio one more time to the same result, now starting to get concerned. Could this be a P-40 captured by the Japanese? They decide to shoot over its wing, making sure the pilot is aware of their presence. But the plane doesn't react at all. Confused by the situation, they decide to investigate, but as they get closer, the mystery deepens. The plane has extremely heavy damage. Bullet holes riddle the fuselage. Pieces of the wing are missing. It has ad hoc repairs with mismatched paint and bare metal in places, and one of its landing gear wells is completely empty. Taking a closer look at the canopy, they see it destroyed and the pilot unmoving. Chills travel down the spines of the Americans. What they are seeing can't be described as anything else other than a ghost. A dead aviator from 10 months ago, still flying.
How the hell is this thing still flying?
They radio each other, trying to figure out what exactly to do, but there's simply nothing to be done. The ghost plane begins slowing down and losing altitude, her engine out of fuel. Gradually, she disappears into the clouds and crashes into the rice fields below, out of sight. The next day, the pilots visit the site of the impact. Pieces of the plane lay scattered across the field. They find the pilot long dead and missing any identifying information. Alongside him in the cockpit, they spot a diary, and in his jacket, a bunch of intact letters. They grab them all before returning back to base. The letters are mailed, and the diary is surrendered to superiors, where it's promptly lost in the vast archives of the military. The story behind the plane would remain a complete mystery and morph into legend, with many different variations springing up over the years. Upon the end of the war, Japanese records revealed that on December the 8th, 1942, a lone P-40 had attacked military installations in Taiwan and was chased away by intercepting fighters with no kills confirmed. It wasn't until years later that some more information would arise and shed some light on the ghost plane. One day, a writer by the name of Kurt Norris mentioned this story at a veterans reunion, and an old man by the name of Milton McMullen stood up and said, "I helped build that airplane." Later, he sat with Kurt and told his tale.
It's May 1942. I was a sergeant.
Milton is a sergeant in the 701st Aviation Ordnance Squadron of the 19th Bomber Group. He was stationed in the island of Mindanao, Philippines, when the Japanese fell upon the island. The unprepared Americans and Filipinos couldn't deal with the Japanese onslaught, and they were ultimately ordered to surrender by their general. But Milton refused. Alongside fellow soldiers from both the Philippines and the US, they formed a resistance. Hiding in the dense forests, fighting in guerrilla warfare, sabotaging Japanese efforts, or simply surviving in hiding. During this time, they scavenged pieces from 2 P-40 wrecks. One was crash-landed with mostly intact wings in the forest, but the rest of the body was in rougher shape, and the engine had seized up. The second wreck was found by locals, and it still had a turning engine. Over the course of many weeks, they hauled the 2.5-ton husk of an aircraft into their hiding place deep in the forest, and the mechanics then got to work. They tinkered with the aircraft, tearing them apart, diagnosing their issues, and patching together a single working example. The plan was to evacuate an important Philippine general, allowing him to escape to tell the tale of the many brave men that had served alongside him. He would take letters written by the soldiers. One issue, however, was that the P-40 had a range of only 730 miles. China was well over 1,000 miles away at the closest. To try to fix this, the men stripped everything unnecessary from the aircraft, virtually all armor, the wing-mounted machine guns, and some instruments. The nose machine guns were kept just in case. They also added a makeshift 50-gallon underbelly fuel tank. Another issue was the landing gear, or rather, how it was missing on the left side. For this, they created a skid out of bamboo and scrap metal that would hold the plane until takeoff, and then would fall away. And lastly was the runway. Every Allied runway had been taken over, and it was impossible to sneak such a machine into a clearing long enough for takeoff. Instead, with the help of the locals, they cut a strip into the forest. The first half was under the canopies of the taller trees, hidden from prying eyes. Only at the very end, it was open to the sky above, the minimum needed for an up-to-speed P-40 to sneak through. Towards the end of the year, the beast was ready. In her ragged, scrappy glory, the engine came to life, and the roar of the V-12 tore through the forest of Mindanao. They tested all the instruments, passing with satisfactory results, much to the celebration of the crews. But then, the plane sat. The general didn't want to leave his men behind just yet. Nobody knows how long the Ghost P-40 sat in the makeshift hangar, waiting for her time to shine. Then came that fateful day. On December the 8th, Milton McMullen was sleeping in his tent close to the hidden airfield. A roar jolted him awake. He listened as it grew louder, the unmistakable note of an aircraft engine bringing everyone out of their sleeping spots. Running for the airfield, listening to the aircraft he'd spent so long working on, speeding down a runway, he could barely believe it. Emerging from the forest, he sees her already airborne, catching only the shortest glimpse before she escapes into the heavens. A pilot unknown to history had had enough. If the generals didn't wish to leave, then he might as well save himself and the letters the hopeful men had written. Milton watched teary-eyed as she flew away, off to wherever she may head. The daring pilot would travel 1,090 miles until he found land, but sadly, he didn't find China. He found occupied Taiwan. Upon the realization of where he is, he dumps his little ammunition to whatever he can see on the ground, damaging some buildings and planes as the Japanese scramble to intercept. He runs out of ammunition and flees for China, but it's too late. Zeros catch up to him, riddle his plane with machine guns, tearing through his fuselage and striking him multiple times before he can escape into the clouds. The plane gets away, but he does not. He bleeds out somewhere over the Strait of Taiwan, flying adrift. The Ghost P-40 would crash 1,300 miles away from Mindanao. Milton and his men would be captured and taken to a POW camp a few weeks after the flight. Never knowing what had happened to their precious P-40, Milton would endure brutal treatment during his stay as a prisoner, but would survive. Regretfully, very few of his compatriots would get to say the same. He is the only person ever to claim to have worked on the Ghost P-40. He died in hospital in Jackson, Mississippi on the 1st of December 2014, aged 93. As sad as it may seem, the final mission of the Ghost P-40 was in some ways a success, as the family received the letters from the brave men who chose to fight. We hope you like our video. To support the channel and a great cause, please go to amaze.com/yarnhub. Thank you.